Welcome back to the 49ers Red Gold Redemption podcast. Yeah, I know I'm 2 days late with this reaction, this recap of this 49ers game against the Seahawks, but I had to recover. All right. I know Seattle Seahawks fans are going to flood my page. I've seen some of the comments already. I've seen some of the comments talking shit, talking mess. But hey, it's a part of the game, it's a part of the fandom. But it was a disappointing loss. We got blown out. We haven't scored against the Seahawks since the first game this season, and that kind of bothers me. I like at least get on touchdowns. We got field goals, but I would have liked at least one touchdown to kind of make myself feel better after that. But man, they put the clamps on us, and they really let us know this game. They're like, y'all not on our level, and we're not supposed to be on their level at this point. We're not supposed to be on a lot of people's level. We have overachieved this season on a major level. We overachieved with the pieces we had and the injuries we had to all of our star. I know injuries are a part of the game, but I don't know any team that had this many star players. Um, about $400 million in payroll on the injured reserve. We had so many key players injured. Once Boza went down, and Mikael Williams, who was supposed to help Boza with putting pressure on the quarterback, both of these guys went down. It was very difficult. And if we didn't have Robert Sala, if we had a defense coordinator that was like that wasn't on his level, it would have been even worse. He did what he can with the pieces, and that showed you how valuable Robert Sala is. But this group of guys will get better. They're just a young core, and when it came to experience, it kind of you know bit us in the butt right there. But we'll get back to it, man. That game was frustrating to watch, just like the last time we played them. I'm like, yeah, can we get one touchdown? And some comments. Yeah, we can't ride Chris McCaffrey. See, we need to fix a couple of things next year. We can't have McCaffrey playing the way he did this year. He was doing too much this year. He had to kind of carry the load. And that happened with Debo Samuel in, I think, 2019. Actually, shit, the last time the Rams made it to the Super Bowl that year, when we were like really pushing Debo Samuel, and he was doing a lot before we got Chris McCaffrey. So I'll say hopefully we get some pieces in where Chris McCaffrey doesn't have to do that much work, because his body's going to break down. I mean, it was a surprise that he didn't get injured this year. Despite all the injuries we had this year, it was Christian McCaffrey out of all the players who stayed healthy. And only this game when he got that stinger where he got, we're concerned about his injuries. But man, we had a great year. It was a very injury plagued year, but we did better than expected. And I can imagine only downside is that we made it this far, so now we're not going to get our draft position isn't that good. But yeah, unfortunately, George Kittle's out of there now for all of next year, I believe. Achilles injury. I'm like, man. But we didn't have a lot of pieces. We didn't have Ayuk. We didn't have George Kittle for a lot of the season. He was injured. And it's crazy because the first game he got injured, and it was Tonjes who caught the game-winning pass. Then when you played Seattle again, George Kittle was coming off the ankle injury that he had. Then when he played him a third time, he got injured. So it was always something. He always had an injury or something that like compromised him when we played Seattle. That's just something I noticed. But I mean, Pearsall's been injured. He's not that big. So it's just a lot of things that were against us that we overcame, but we came up short. And as a 49ers fan who's looking for that sixth Super Bowl, I am disappointed. Because I talked to other teams out there, other people, and they're talking about, man, y'all did good. At least you made it to the Super Bowl 3 times. I know y'all lost 3 times, but at least you made it. My team has never made it. I'm like, well, that's a difference. When you have 5 Super Bowl championships, making it to the Super Bowl is not good enough. Getting there is not good enough. No, you got to score. Like it's like getting with a good looking girl, and you're in the bed, you're in her, wherever you're at, you kissing and all that stuff. But then when it comes down to getting, to where you need to get to, you don't get there. Oh, but at least you're there in the room with her. At least you kissed her. No, no, no. I want to make the home run. And that's how I am as a 49ers fan. We have expectations here, man. We have 5 Super Bowls. We haven't won one since 1995. And it's time to get number 6. But I thought we may have, who knows? It may have been a miracle year. I was thinking emotionally, not logically. So, but let's think about the future. Man, we can always dwell on the past, but we need to get some weapons. We need a big time playmaking receiver. Ayuk's not the guy, obviously. I don't know what's going on with him, but we seen against Detroit. And I know I bring this game up a lot because it was a great game, but Purdy overthrew Ayuk and Ayuk made the catch. So those are the plays that play back then turned the game around, and we couldn't make any of those plays because we don't have a receiver like that. You need a big play receiver. Usually it's George Kittle, but George Kittle's been injured, and maybe it would have been Pearsall, but I don't think Pearsall is like that. He's like Elderman from the Patriots because we kind of look like the Patriots, and we don't have like this star receiver, but we have a great tight end, and we have a lot of receivers who fit the system. That's how we look. Well, we need that X factor, and we'll see. But we need that Justin Jefferson type of receiver. And Ayuk was kind of that way, or you're supposed to be that guy. When everything's down, when everybody's getting locked down, it's that one receiver that breaks free, that TO type of receiver, that Randy Moss, that Megatron type of receiver, Larry Fitzgerald. That's what we need. Now, hopefully, the defense will heal up pretty soon. Now we need to find a replacement for George Kittle. And, it's just not his play on the field, it's his personality and everything that he brings to the team. He's like Fred Warner, that rah-rah. Nick Bosa doesn't really bring that. He's more about what's on the field because he's very introverted, I can see. But those two guys, that's the personality. And Kendrick Bourne. Kendrick Bourne is a personality. I'm not sure if you're going to have him next year. But we did well. And the Rams game, let's talk about this Rams game. I was disappointed. I was going for the Bears because I already had my teams that I wanted to win if the Niners don't win. And my number one choice was the Bears, but they lost it to the Rams. And Caleb Williams made that crazy pass, that Aaron Rodgers type pass, but they came up short, and that was very disappointing for me. I live in Los Angeles, so I got to talk to a lot of these Rams fans. And the thing is with LA, it's like they're not even really Rams fans out here. They'll put their jerseys on. They're like, "Oh, we made it to the NFC Championship again." Oh, okay, but they're not like the Laker fans. So it's a weird thing out here. But they'll talk their mess though. They're like, "That's our team at the end of the day." I know they were in St. Louis before, and then they were in Los Angeles. They left, came back and forth. I know they're like that, the Raiders, where they just go back and forth. So they're not really that loyal to them, but they'll claim them. They're like an adopted child or stepkid or something like that. They'll claim them. So, but now I got to hear them, and I don't know who to root for because the teams I wanted to win this year were if the Niners didn't win, the Bears, the Bills. Number one was the Bills. Number two was the Bears. And then I want the Texans to win because they have D'Amico Ryans, our former defensive coordinator. So I wanted them to win. And who else? Yeah, it was the Niners. Those four teams. And none of them won. They all lost. So now I'm in this weird limbo. Who do I root for? So now it comes down to who do I root against? Who do I dislike the most? And right now it's the Seahawks. I don't like the Seahawks because they beat us down so bad. So it's the two NFC teams. I don't like the Seahawks and I don't like the Rams. The Patriots, I feel like they have so many championships, so much success. And I guess it's a good story that they made it back. The Broncos, I don't really like Sean Payton. There's just nothing like this Super Bowl it has a lack of soul in my mind. There's no soul. There's no spirit within these four teams. These four teams lack a spirit. You can root for the Steelers. Aaron Rodgers is there. I know Tomlin won his ring. I feel like these four teams lack a soul. So it's hard to root for any of these teams. So I have to root against certain teams. So I got to figure out who I don't like the most. And so far, it's the Seahawks. I don't like the Seahawks because they put a beat down on us. But I think it may be the Rams. But look how boring this Super Bowl is. If the Seahawks win, Sam Darnold, and Just maybe, you know what? It could be the Patriots and the Seahawks rematch, and they could get their redemption from that play that Pete Carroll called when they decided to throw it instead of run it in. So maybe the Seahawks to get their revenge against the Patriots. There you go. That could be a storyline. Anything else is not that interesting. The Broncos winning. Maybe John Elway. John Elway. I think he's the general manager, I believe. And then the Seahawks, Rams, Broncos, then the Patriots. It's just not that. It's not that exciting. But hey, that's my take on that. We lost. Now we got to regroup. And we'll see. I might be back on the podcast to see if I could, this is a 49ers podcast, so I got to associate the 49ers. I got to kind of figure out how to squeeze them in with the subjects out there. So I want to still put out videos, see who we could get in the draft, do a reaction to these NFC and the AFC championship games and the Super Bowl, and figure out a way to squeeze the Niners in there somehow. I see the way some of these 49ers YouTubers are doing it. So I might try that. But yeah, it's a disappointing loss. And as Niner fans, we have standards. Everybody's saying, "Oh, you made it to the Super Bowl. Oh, y'all did so well. Y'all did well for the injuries that y'all had. Y'all did a good job." Yes, we did a good job. But at the end of the day, I want to win. So we'll see. But that's it. That's my video. Red Gold Redemption Podcast. Quest for 6 is still in action. We're still trying to get that 6th Super Bowl. It's been so long. Let me see if we get my hand in the frame. We just can't let the Cowboys get number 6 before we get number 6. It'll be sad. But I believe we'll get it. We're injured this year. Bad luck. Next year, we'll see. That's it for the Red Gold Redemption Podcast, and I'm out.